Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Now I know I haven't really streamed or been on YouTube at all for a very long time. So I was busy. I had school and I generally didn't wanna stream, but now I'm free and I have decided to transition to C. So let me give a little bit of a backstory. I did code for a while in Java, but then I decided I do want more control, which is why I ended up in C. It has been a couple months since I last uploaded, but I'm uploading now, so yeah, let's go. It's been maybe a couple weeks since I started using C. I know the basic gist of it. Like I know pointers and like and etc. But I'm still pretty new to C. So yeah, I have everything set up for glfw and glad. Do I have? Let me see. Yeah, I have CGLM2, which is a open source C GLM binding for C, I guess. And I have here a CMake file which I use to run C itself, or the C program. It just sets up the thing. And I also have a test file which is I was testing something, so I guess then we don't quite need it, so I could just delete it. Yeah, alright. Let me get started. So this is episode 1, so I will try to stream these in episodes, and maybe we can see where I get there. So in episode 1 I thought I could maybe set the game up, maybe do some VBO and buffers and all that. So yeah, let me get started. So the first thing you always want to do with glfw and glad is, well, you first start with glfw. So you initialize glfw. That's the first thing you gotta do. The second step is just to create the window, set up the game loop, and there you got a window. I mean, it's not that difficult, but the window will return a window pointer which can be used for binding keys, getting input, and some other functions require the window. So we will create a window pointer which we will not assign yet, and then when we're creating the window we can point to this. So let's fill in the parameters. The first parameter is the width, so we're going to set 720. Second parameter is height, 480, so we get a 720p resolution. Third parameter is title, which for me is going to be test in all caps, and maybe one exclamation mark. And then two other parameters which I quite don't know what they are, but I mean, I think they're legacy, which means they aren't frequently used anymore. So I'm just going to put null there. And then we can do a while loop. Or no, we're not going to do it like that. We're just going to do glfw while glfw window should close window. And then here we can just pull the events, check for events basically. Great. We should get a window running now. Yeah, it's pretty much that's it. Like, we got a window running. But before that, I'm actually going to add the window on the OBS just so you can see what's going on. If you can give me a second. There. and we can plop it right here. I think that's good enough. And then when we run it, you should see a white square, which is why it's white right now, because I'm not filling the color or anything. Yeah, there, that's the window in the above a sprite. So the next thing is probably we will want to set up some functions like update and render. We can do that by render, and we'll create another function called update. We'll define them down here. And actually, I think I will take the glf poll events and I'll put it here. We're also gonna take render and define it down here. First we gotta set up a mask, so we can do that with gl clear, gl color buffer bit, and then we can do gl clear, which we can use to specify the color. I'm probably going to go for a pink orangey shade, so I can do 0.6, 0.5f, and 0.4f, and then 1.40f, which just specifies the alpha. And last but not least, we can update it, which will be glf swap buffers window. I don't think we need, I mean, why not? We can do the vsync, because I'm not going to add a game loop quite yet, so we're just going to put one there for the thing. And if we call the render and update functions, it should run nicely now. Yippee, we got a window going. However, we do need to create a context and use glad. What was I think it was gl load glad. No, it wasn't. It's what was it? I'm trying to remember the name of the function. I'll just check something. Yeah, I should probably have the docs on the side, but I don't for some reason, because I'm pretty dumb. But alright, I got it. This one. And then we can import it. However, we do need to import it before glfw, otherwise it's going to cause errors. There is an issue. Probably because we gotta call that before that. Yep. And there, we got a window going with the desired color. Great. So what's the next step? Probably the next step would be creating a utils file. Why not? Utils. We're going to create an associative header with it. Header file being a file where you define and where you basically define stuff before runtime. No, yeah, sort of. So first thing I'm going to do is create a char pointer, which is just the return type of a variable of a function I'm going to call read file. Ignore that. So the way this function is going to work is, actually, you're going to see in a second. So we're going to create a pointer for a struct called file. but for some reason, there we go. Gotta import stdio. I'm gonna move this stdio to utils.h. It's easier, it's better that way. Great, we got that pointer. With that pointer set, we will create a call to a function called fopen. The fopen function takes two parameters, file path and mode. For me, it's going to be read bytes. No, we don't need bytes actually. We'll see, depending on the ASCII. So, yeah. The next step would be probably to set up the pointer. We can do that by, not the pointer, but I don't know how to translate this, but the location. We can do that via fseek. We can do file for stream, 0 for offset, and seek end. So this should get us the length of the file. Fseek file 0 seek set. And just to test it, we are going to return some words just so it doesn't give us an error, and we are going to print L for long, then new line and length. Now let's go back to here and include utils.h. And now we're going to read the file. File path is going to be test.txt. We will have to create a test.txt, test, and we can just 60. But this should be 3 bytes. Should say 3 in chat. And I messed up. I know where I messed up. We gotta change this. Oh, my bad. It needs to be a lie for long int. And we are also going to do some file handling. I mean error handling. It's late, my bad. Yeah, like I said, 3 bytes. And what do I have? 3 letters, 3 bytes. Let's go. Probably the next logical thing would be to read the actual file. We can do that in a couple of easy steps. So because C is a language where you control memory manually, we will have to use a function called malloc. And malloc just dynamically allocates memory, or calloc. We'll see. Calloc is used to dynamically allocate memory towards arrays, but probably we will use this. String is equal to malloc. Wait, we gotta import it. Give me a second. Import size. So the size would probably be length times size of char. And last but not least, we will do a couple more conditions and add to the string, I guess. However, at the very top, I will do an if statement. If file is equal to null, we are going to return null, and we are going to print failed to open file. Now this essentially just confirms that, or tells us that we failed to open the file, making our lives much easier in the future if we fail to find the file. So while experimenting earlier, I found out that, see, well, wait, what's the parameter of f5? Well, technically you could do that, and then you could just do string I is equal to f get c file. Well, technically you could do that. It's not ideal just because you're checking it twice and you might run into some errors. So what we are going to do is create a new variable. We're going to call character, and in the while loop condition we're going to set character to equal to that. This way we only have to check it once. We also need another variable, and we're going to say long in index is equal to 0 and index. It has just occurred to me we will need to increment that every time we loop over a character. So if we're at character 0, we read character 0, we add to the string, and then we increment it by 1. So next time, so on character 2, it will do the same and just repeat over the list. I think that's it, and we can return string. Now we can print it. Oh, and I think that's it. There are a couple things I did forget. First of all, the B in read bytes, we do actually need it. And secondly, we forgot the null terminator thing. I learned this from documentation earlier today. So string index is equal to, there we go. Now we should get those weird, we should stop getting those weird faces. No, not n, I meant 0, my bad. Yeah, there we go. No more weird faces, simply what's in the file. Now this is really useful because if we have a file, let's say glsl version 460 core, and then we have some void main, some stuff. And great, it actually printed in the console, which means it works. Whew, that was quite something. But with that out of the way, I say, although, yeah, I think I do have some preset shaders from before, but because this is a series, I don't want to spoil anything. So there, we deleted everything. I'm going to just write some basic shaders. Version 460 core, void main, and then we can just copy the same and paste it here. Sorry, my chair is pretty bad, if you can hear it in the background squeaking. Yeah, that's my chair, my bad. So, great, we got that working. We can read files now. So, I'm thinking we actually create test VBO and EBO. However, it is 1 AM and 2 AM. I feel pretty bad. So, I might continue the stream tomorrow morning.